It's a bit of a hard, slick base. We saw a lot of riders lighting it up in qualifying, getting a little too eager on the throttle. So it's going to be a good combination of attacking as well as, finding that rhythm and flow.
Now, Justin Cooper has been fast qualifier this year in 7 out of the 9 rounds, and he did it again this morning. He has the #1 gate pick, but this start, which was known once they changed it here about 15 years ago to favor the inside, he did not pick the inside gates. It actually fades toward the right, so the inside doesn't work any longer. So that's a bit of a change. And actually, Jet Lawrence, with his second best pick, is lined up to the inside of Cooper. He's giving that inside up. So this is different.
Yeah, Cooper putting a lot of faith in his starting ability.
Yep. Fly Racing 30-second card is up. Also, Cooper has been excellent with starts this year. I would guess Cooper was trying to line up to a direct line to where that apex begins in turn 1, but that is different than previous years.
Absolutely.
Here it is. Revs are up. Moto 1. Gates down. Still the inside might work. One of the Husqvarna riders trying to push and shove his way through. No, it's going to be Justin Cooper with another Motorsport.com hole shot. It was Swole, the 47, who was pushing everyone through the inside. He's second.
Yeah, you see that section a lot smoother than it was in qualifying. These guys able to attack the track from the beginning. It's also dried out a little bit, but, well, we talked about Cooper having the confidence in his starting and his starting ability. Took a bit of a gamble there, but had a great angle into that first turn. Was able to hug it on the way out.
Austin Forkner, a good start in third. That is a rare sighting to see Forkner up front early in a moto this year. He has been mired all sorts of issues throughout the summer. Bad starts are part of it. So this is good to see him see what he can do running with the leaders behind Swole here on the 47.
Yeah, the riders now have a bit more luxury as far as picking their lines. You see a lot of those opening turns, did some good track work. So the lines will start developing.
And first good start we've seen in a while for Garrett Marchbanks on the Club MX AMA Comeback Yamaha. Actually had arm pump surgery during our break in the calendar a couple of weeks ago. And looking to get back up to where he was at the beginning of the year, where he was a top 5 guy.
Ooh, a little mistake there from Swole coming to that turn. Just stalled him up a little bit. Faulkner with a great run.
Ooh, he's going to be able to get to the inside. Swole wants to block it, and he does.
Yeah, but then he wasn't able to get to the inside, which Faulkner does. Now a drag race.
Ooh, and Faulkner able to stay low on the inside, get the wheels back to the ground, and he's up to second.
Yeah, he was able to use his body there to stay low over that tabletop, got the wheels back on the ground. Swole tried to defend coming in, but with that off camber, he just overjumped a little bit, pushed him a little wide, wasn't able to get to that inside, and that's all that Faulkner needed to get through. RJ
Hampshire and Jeremy Martin joining the party now. They're right there behind Marchbanks. Jet Lawrence is behind them in the number 7 position. So this has been the story quite a bit this year. Not a terrible start for Jet, 7th, but look at how big a lead Justin Cooper has already. He is gone.
Yeah, and that's what happens in these opening laps. But with the track work that's been done, this is a great opportunity to make hay while the sun shines and make some aggressive passes. He can square up under the riders. You look, now he's just going to try to go the long way around. And of course, he's behind a star Yamaha, Jeremy Martin. Not out there riding for his teammate, but by no means is going to make it easy for Jet to get by. And in some of these turns with that track prep, it is a little bit one line.
I believe that is Masterpool. You see the red fenders. That's actually Masterpool, and the gas. Ty Masterpool right behind Jet. So he is in this freight train as well as Lawrence tries to figure out a way around Jeremy Martin and Hampshire now in the 24. Rockstar Husky is trying to get around Marchbanks.
Yeah, stayed low, went to the inside. I was going to say probably going to have to back out of that triple. Their lines were going to come together. But I like the aggression early on from RJ Hampshire. Maybe not really thinking championship at this point. He just wants race wins, moto wins. He always gives you everything he's got while he's out there. And you can see the riders figuring out the lines and the way the track has changed from practice. It's quite a bit different. It's dried up a fair bit. They've moved some dirt around. They're building some new lines in some of these sections. And look at Hampshire, just full attack mode. Stayed so low that jump once again.
I'll tell you who has his track figured out. Justin Cooper put 4.1 seconds on the field in the first lap. A couple turns away from beginning of this next lap, and we'll give you an idea of the split again as Hampshire continues to work Marchbanks. Swole right ahead of them. Going to be a drag race through the mechanics area. Hampshire trying to get to the inside for this next left-hander. Marchbanks won't let him get there.
Yeah, he went around the outside there, but it's just a little bit soft still. See, now he's going to try and keep a tighter line through those rollers. Once again, those lines sort of filter into one at the end. But Hampshire, it's not from a lack of trying. He is giving it everything. You'd think it's the last lap, but maybe he can see Justin Cooper disappearing and wants to be a part of that. Oh, look at that.
Great drive up the hill. Hampshire will be in the inside here. Marchbanks can't protect the line, and Hampshire has him.
Yeah, took the line away at the exit there. Marchbanks sort of forced to that outside, and it's a little bit soft still, so it bogged him down. And Hampshire just took the line away. Great pass. He'd been working on that for a little while.
So Hampshire now will try to go after his teammate Swoll, who is in third. Faulkner is second, and Cooper stretched it again. 5.7 second gap. 2.5 laps into this race. There is your leader, Justin Cooper, dropping on the downhill with our Thor drone cam. So it's a good way we can keep track of the leader and also this battle as Jet Lawrence still trying to figure out a way around Jeremy Martin.
That is an incredible lead that Cooper has built up already.
Yeah, 4 seconds in the first lap. Unbelievable. But remember, the day started off spectacularly for him at Unadilla, and by the end of the day, second moto not so good. He didn't even win the overall. So lots of racing still to come your way from Budds Creek. Right now, it is advantage Justin Cooper.
Yeah, he's built up this quick, nice little gap. And I don't know if he's just settling in or if the other guys are finding their speed a little bit. We'll see when they cross the finish line with their lap times. I mean, it was certainly in the opening laps, Cooper just outright quicker than everyone by a long shot. Basically 2 seconds.
It's got it up to 7.2 seconds now. We'll see what the split is as they come across the line again. Look at the lead. There you see Faulkner, and then the Husqvarna teammates of Swoll and Hampshire really battling. Hampshire, he's willing to go inside and outside. He switched his lines compared to the previous lap, just reacting to wherever Swoll is going.
You would think all these guys were riding great if Justin Cooper wasn't out there 7 seconds ahead of them.
Oh, yeah, we got a great battle for the lead.
Yeah.
It looks like that.
They all look like they're riding really well. Hampshire tries it again. These lines will come together. That was brave, and I would say a little bit of playing nice there from teammate Swoll could have forced the issue.
So Hampshire up to third. Now Marchbanks putting the attack on Swoll. And these guys are holding their own. You have Jeremy Martin and Jet Lawrence behind them, and they are not holding them up. As a matter of fact, look at that, a little gap between Martin and Jet.
And you've got to wonder if you Jet Lawrence, I don't think he's maybe even had a chance to get a glimpse of Justin Cooper. I wonder if he looks down ahead at the bottom of the hill and goes, all right, Faulkner's leading. You know, where's Cooper?
He's out.
You know, because I doubt the team's going to go out of their way to let him know that Cooper's running away with it.
Yeah,
you know, right now he's in his own little battle. He's you know, got to get to sixth and then, you know, work his way forward before you can even think about Cooper. But then the other part of it is you want him to know that Cooper's disappearing, and you at the very least you've got to get a second in this motor. You've got to get around this pack in front.
Little mistake by Swoll there allows Marchbanks to close back up to his rear fender. Pretty good performance by this Club MX team. They did not race this series at all until this year. They had raced Supercross and some Canadian motocross. They really took a big step this year, getting Marchbanks, considered one of the good young talents of the sport, bringing him on board full-time, committing to race Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. And I'll tell you, for a privateer outfit, they do not have any of the factory parts. 250 class, that's usually almost impossible to put in these kind of results where horsepower is at a premium. It has not been a consistent year for Marchbanks, but at the beginning of the year, he was showing podium-level pace. It looks like he could be back to that today. He had a little bit of a mid-season lull, but boys, he found his form again.
Yeah, it looks like Swoll is now holding him up a little bit. Looks comfortable on that bike, and as you were saying, for a non-factory team, they've done a great job. And Marchbanks is not the smallest guy out there either, so that bike's got to carry around a little bit extra weight. I'm not saying he's a big guy. He's just a tall, bigger than most, as we say. Motocross guys like someone like Jeremy Martin, pretty small guy.
Yeah, I think Marchbanks goes somewhere in the 180 to 190 range, which for a motocross rider is heavy.
Yep.
That doesn't make him big. It's like an average size. But here they are lean and mean, and that includes Jet Lawrence doing everything he can to get around Martin.
Yeah, he's been stuck in this position now for a few laps. All these riders pretty close in lap times, around the 50-51 range. But Cooper's still consistently in the 40s.
Okay, Ashley's been checking out the pit boards for Jet Lawrence. What have you been seeing?
Yeah, just to follow up with Grant was asking about if they knew who was out front. Justin Cooper thinking which place Jet was in. Last lap, he actually wrote down his lap time was a 50 and he needs 47. This lap, he's just letting him know his lap time this time and what place he's in. He's in 7th place at the moment, working with Jeremy Martin.
Well, I'll tell you what, when they put in the pit board, you're in the 50s and you need a 47. That's a big ask.
Yeah, definitely. 47 is Cooper's best lap. So maybe they're thinking if we can...
Well, I got to check this here. So, yeah, Cooper's best lap was a 147, but he just turned in a 155, 8 seconds slower than he was at the beginning of this race, and he's lost a lot of that gap. It's back down to 4.8 seconds. He had built about 8 or 9 seconds up.
I wonder if he had a tip over.
Must have. Or,
I mean, like just a quick little...
Yeah. Look at this battle. Martin trying to tiptoe his way through those ruts, almost got run into by Lawrence from behind. There's Lawrence on the outside.
Yeah, you can tell he's starting to get a little impatient. He's going to force it.
What a scrub! Unbelievable. Almost no airtime from Jet Lawrence. He kept it on the ground and he takes the spot. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, in fact, they almost landed into each other. I think caught Jeremy off guard just a little bit. He got a good drive out of the previous turn. Now he's going to go to that outside.
Look at this.
And all of a sudden just pulls the pin. Jet Lawrence. Well, maybe he's responding to that 47 pit board. He's trying at least.
Hold my Red Bull. I'll show you what I can do.
Exactly.
Unbelievable. So just like that, he makes 2 passes. After the first 11 minutes of the race, he could not get around them. And he does it in the matter of about 4 corners. Now Jeremy Martin goes after Marchbanks. This is a battle for second. You can just see Cooper up ahead. He is not as far out as he was earlier. So, yeah, I've got to assume at least a mistake, if not a tip over.
Speaking of mistake, in the bottom box there, Marchbanks surrenders that spot to Jeremy Martin. He made a mistake at the bottom of the hill after Henry Hill. Jeremy just blasted around the outside. Who was that?
Oh, one of the Hampshire?
Don't tell me. It's Hampshire.
Unbelievable. It's just something we've seen far too often from him. Yes, Swole is still there. That will be 3rd place. So Hampshire, another crash in a corner. That has happened far too many times for his liking this year. And it's going to give Jet Lawrence another position as he's up on Swole, but that would be for 3rd.
Well, I tell you what, all of a sudden that gap's not that huge. With the mistake from Cooper out front and Jet picking up the pace, this race is far from over.
Yeah, and Cooper recovered. He just put in a 150, so that's off of what his best time was. But the 155 lap that he ran 1 lap ago, that is what has allowed the field to keep him in sight. So it's Cooper over...
Watch Jet here.
Forkner than these two.
He buried the bike a little bit. Got a little excited there.
Swole trying to deal with the pressure from Jet Lawrence, who's all over him for the number 3 spot. Justin Cooper continues to lead over Forkner. MAV TV brings you Moto America live. It's 160-mile-an-hour knee-dragging action. Don't miss the Super Sports Series. Go to mavtv.com for schedule. So Justin Cooper, right here, the Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha, leads the way. Built up a big gap. 4 seconds in the first lap of this race. Continued to pull away from there. Then he had 1 bad lap. We're not sure if it was a crash or a mistake. Right now it's 6.2. What is impressive, at one point it was down to about 4.2. He has inched back away ever so slightly after that bad lap. And we'll give you an idea of the gap here. We're waiting for Forkner. There he is. On the Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki in second. Look, if you're Forkner, this has got to feel great. If you could hold on for a podium in the second half of this moto, what he's got to do is 15 more minutes of riding like this. And in 15 minutes, you can save 15% or more on your insurance. 15-minute phone call to Geico. So this is the ride that Forkner has been waiting all summer for. Finally a good start. He's kept it off the ground. Knock on wood here that he can maintain it to the end. But if anyone needs a boost of confidence, it's this guy.
Yeah, he needs it bad. You sort of feel like that whole pro circuit organization could do with a little boost. You know, I think individually guys like Shimoda have had a pretty decent year. I don't think there was a ton of expectations from him. But, you know, Forkner has been their golden child since many, many years. He was the next, you know, Cianciarulo. And, you know, between injuries, and frustration and crashes. Just hasn't happened this year. At times it's been, you know, pretty dismal, but at least tracking in the right direction at the moment.
Might have to deal with Jet Lawrence, though, before it's over, because Lawrence is definitely going fast. Last time around, he was about 1.2 seconds faster than Forkner. Let's show you how Jet got into third, battling with Swole.
Yeah, he used that outside again, stays low over that roller, and then it puts him on the inside, and obviously leaves the braking really late. Nothing Swole could do there. He's on the outside.
So Jet Lawrence trying to close in on Forkner. Like I said, he was a little quicker the last time around. So the gap between them was a little over 3 seconds. Now it's 2.7. And he was a little quicker than Justin Cooper the last time around. It was about a 10-second gap. Now it's 7.9. So Lawrence is making up ground. The question is he making up enough with the amount of time we have left? And you can almost see Forkner up ahead. So Jet Lawrence, the quest for championship points is on here in the final 13 minutes. Moto 1 at Budds Creek in the 250 class. Austin Forkner hanging on to the number 2 spot, but here is Jet Lawrence continuing to close from third, and this is critical.
See how good he is. Just doesn't bury the bike. So light. Just staying out of the deep stuff. You got to watch it very carefully how he does it, because sometimes you think, no, he's taking the same line, and it's not. He's 3-4 inches to the left or the right, and then like these turns so good in the middle and the exit.
And it has allowed him to get all the way to the rear fender of Forkner. And we also know he has figured out a bunch of places to make passes, because he's already done that several times. So Forkner is about to deal with Lawrence.
Yeah, problem is in that turn, that outside's been blown out. And when they enter the turn, it's the same line. So that's almost taken one of his sort of great passing spots out of it. But if Lawrence can do, after the finish line, through those little switchbacks, get really close to Forkner, at the bottom of the hill where he scrubbed the jump and got Jeremy, he could probably try and make that work on Forkner. At least I believe that's what he's going to try and plan to do. So a few more turns until we get to that part of the track.
And Forkner has to plan to get around some of the lap riders that he's running up on right now. Try to slice inside there.
That was actually a good line. So he may have accidentally stumbled across that one. And but he's going to know, hey, that was tight. It was a nice arc, and it didn't bog the bike down at all.
Okay, good view of this with our drone cam. Cooper, by the way, back up to 5.5 seconds of a gap over this battle for the number 2 spot. So Cooper is doing what he needs to do. Got the motorsport.com hole shot, pulled away, and has maintained the gap from there. As Lawrence goes back to work. Good job by Forkner. Lawrence was on him a lap ago, and Forkner so far has fended off the attack.
Yeah, but this is where Jet is good. Watch the difference through these tight turns. In this section here, he was just staying out of the really deep stuff there, inside of that, and then watch a little acceleration there, closes right back up. Doesn't bury the bike now. This is where he's been strong all moto. He arcs this turn, and if he can stay low over this tabletop, possibly could get to the inside, but not this lap.
Forkner going to have to deal with more lap traffic. Could be the first moto podium of the season for Forkner, even if he relinquishes the spot to Lawrence, but he is doing his best to fight him off. Unbelievable how much traffic we have now.
Yeah, and that's when it gets difficult, is when you come up on them in bunches, because they're in their own battle. It's hard for them to even try and get out of the way. And when there's multiple, you're just going left to right as a lapper goes down right in front of them, and it cost Forkner.
Wow, and just like that, Lawrence is the second.
Forkner had to go around the fallen rider, and Lawrence had just enough time to react, pivot the bike up the inside. So a little bit of luck going Jet Lawrence's way there.
Wow, well, that sure changed things in a hurry. Forkner had done a good job of keeping Lawrence behind him, but now we're going to see is the lap rider that made all the difference.
Yeah, so Forkner's bottom right of the box, and don't see exactly who goes down, but watch, Forkner has to stand the bike up, goes over the rut. Jet's there, just in time, and Forkner's going to feel like he got pit-pocketed on that one. Didn't even see it coming.
Well, that's the bad news. The good news for Forkner, again, still will be the first podium of the year in a moto if he even holds on to this third-place spot. For Jet, now the question is he going to try to make a run? 5.4 seconds is the gap between he and Cooper. It's a big advantage for Cooper, but I would tell you it would be demoralizing if Jet could catch him. So there's a lot on the line. Let's send it down to Ashley.
Well, with with Jet Lawrence coming out to race here at Budds Creek. He mentioned earlier in the week that a lot of these tracks earlier in the season he had never been to, but he was really looking forward to the Final Four. He loves this track here at Budds Creek, and he also loves Ironman and Paula and Hangtown. So for him to be able to come out and decide lines, that we saw it brilliantly last week at Unadilla, he just is able to see different lines and make the bike go where he wants to go. And I agree with you 100%. His corner speed is making all the difference here today.
Yeah, he did race this track back in 2019 when he was fresh out of the amateur ranks. Same thing with Ironman will be our next track. Fox Raceway at Palo, we've raced a couple of nationals there that he has been a part of, including winning earlier in the year. So that'll be 3 races from now. And then Hangtown, our series closer, said he raced an amateur qualifier there, so he knows that track as well. So we've finally gotten to the point where every track in this circuit is one that Jet Lawrence has already visited. Can he use this knowledge to close the gap on Justin Cooper as our title combatants are 1-2 in the final stretch run of our first moto of the day? First time at our last race at Unadilla. Shock will be racing the 450 class, and their first moto will be up at the top of the next hour. Meanwhile, we have a battle for third brewing. Austin Faulkner has it. Said he was going for his first moto podium of the season. It's not going to be easy because Jeremy Martin is there.
Yeah, J. Mart coming on strong, as we know he does. Oh, and Faulkner, the rear end broke loose there, gathers that back up, but that could have cost him. So not sure if it's just Faulkner hasn't been able to run the pace or was not adjusting quick enough. Or maybe it's even just getting a little fatigued, but I want to say it. I think it's the other part, which is you just watch him. He looks a little twitchy and nervous as Jeremy looks a little more comfortable going at this speed.
Okay, and there's still time. 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Oh, did I see Martin attempting to wipe his vision with his arm?
Yep. That means he's out of Teros. This dirt, with it being just moist enough, every time you get roosted, it gets stuck. So he's running out of patience. He was going to go for a bit of a bomb dive at the bottom of the hill. Now he's going to have to duck his helmet, get out of the roost. There, another wipe. So he's blown through, I don't know how many he had on their beginning, but usually they have around 21 or 28. They use those laminates. They come typically in a stack of 7.
Think about 28 tear-offs. You're only doing 15 or so laps in a moto, so they're pulling. Oh, Faulkner, a mistake. Here comes Martin. He's going to take it. So Faulkner, believe it or not, the last moto podium he had in this series was at this track in 2018. Thought he might have it in this moto, but Martin has taken it away.
Yeah, that's going to feel like a lifetime.
It was a good moto, then 2 mistakes there. Got caught up with the lapper. That allowed Jet to get by. And then Martin, another mistake, gets by as well. Obviously, you got to credit Martin and Lawrence for catching Faulkner. Faulkner still step in the right direction, but you know he would at least like to be on the podium. As we go back to Cooper, it was 5.4 seconds. He got it back over 6. Now Lawrence has closed it back to 5.6. Here's your motosport.com whole shot replay. And this is where Justin Cooper started to control the race right from the start. Good to you here.
Yeah, as you said, just a great angle into that first turn. Doesn't run too far wide. Swole almost snuck up the inside.
He was not in direct line, though, with the inside of the entrance. He had to shade left to get to the inside of the entrance to turn 1. Swole almost got under him. Justin Cooper, another hole shot. And this has been the playbook for him, really his whole pro career. Great qualifying, great start, solid moto after that. This time it looks like it might result in the moto win. That doesn't happen each time, but you've talked about it over and over. He just removes the risk by getting out front like that.
Yeah, he just puts himself in good positions so often. And even as this moto's gone on, I've watched him change up his lines, even change up, where he stands, where he sits. I'm always one that's praising Jet Lawrence, but at the same time, Justin Cooper does some things really well on a motorcycle. In fact, if we get a chance next lap by, after the finish line, when they get up in this little tight section, he stood through that off camber, and then as he came out and accelerated, he bunny hopped over that little jump. But Jet not giving up. In fact, No. The
he
gap,
stretched it.
Visibly, I thought it had closed, but nope.
7
Lost a couple
seconds.
tenths.
All right, so Cooper has responded.
Here's where I'm talking about. Watch this right-hander. He stood the whole way through there last time, feet on the pegs, nice and tidy, and then he bunny hopped up.
Wow. Stood up all the way through there. Yeah, you're talking about the exit?
Yeah. Like he was just hopping over that little roller. Now Jet staying outside of the rut and that loose dirt.
Well, it might be over the charge for the #1 spot from Lawrence, but this Lawrence is moving up. That is Hunter ahead of Joe Shimoda. These two have been pretty close, I think, the entire moto. Good battle going on right now. You've got Cooper over Jet, Lawrence, and Martin. Faulkner, Hampshire, Swole. And then this battle, Hunter and Shimoda. Masterpool looking for a top 10 moto, running in 9th. Oh, fork guard hanging off the right side of Hunter's bike. Looks weird. Probably shouldn't affect anything as far as the riding.
It's probably maybe just going to be a bit of a nuisance, but if it catches the ground, it will make the front end twitch.
Oh boy.
You know, in the ruts and all that, it would and could lead to an issue.
Oh, up to the inside, Shimoda. Let's see if he can shut off Hunter. Hunter did not let out of it.
Hunter had about 1 inch of room to work with there. He used all of it because Shimoda was almost in a position just to shove him off the track if he wanted to, but Lawrence had a good angle in that turn.
Nicely done from Hunter Lawrence. I thought the pass was coming for sure. So we mentioned Masterpool will be behind them. He is in 9th. Great ride on the Gas Privateer rider. And then Schwartz is in 10th. Josh Varese, a great ride in 11th. One of the younger riders out here gets a little bit of support from KTM. So we go back to this. Man, Shimoda's not giving up on it.
No, he's fighting. He's always so strong at the end of these motos. To that inside. Oh, their lines. Those lines are almost coming together.
Now, everywhere Shimoda goes, Hunter is able to eventually get there to stop the pass. And we're down to white flag now.
Yeah, he doesn't want to surrender at the end of this moto.
Shimoda again on the attack. Is there room through any of these areas here? That middle line is nice and dry. You get out too far to the outside in a place that's soaked up a lot of rain, you'll slow down in a hurry.
Especially like on this turn, you see on the outside, because it's off camber and there's a bank, that's where the water kind of builds up. So it'll be wetter way longer.
Oh, and that's one of those outside spots.
It's like a sponge. It just sucks you and the bike down. Costs a bunch of time. Great race up front. Justin Cooper just so good at managing races from the front.
Well, I got to say, you know, at one point it was down to 4.5, about 5 seconds, and he pulled back away to get it back to 6 seconds right now. So he had the start, but also the speed. I feel like Justin Cooper, maybe they don't talk enough about his speed. Maybe that's a little on us as well. He has that speed you don't see. Just efficient riding. It's not like you're seeing unbelievable posts on Instagram of he jumped this or watch him do that. He just gets the job done and can't argue with it. He's going to have the best lap time of this race by far. You're in at 1:47.8. Only
Faulkner and Swole did a 49.
Yes, that's the closest. So this is a virtuoso performance, a great ride, and he needed it. Justin Cooper wins the first moto here at Budds Creek. And immediately the question will come. He won the first moto at Unadilla. Looked like he had that race under control. Will he seal the deal today? This battle's still going. Shimoda feet up the pegs, won't lift.
Drag race up the hill. Lawrence has the inside.
No, I thought he was going to square back underneath. There wasn't any room. Great defensive riding, and Hunter Lawrence holds off Shimoda right to the line, and they were pushing.